If you clicked on this video, get ready to lock in for the most productive summer you've had. Okay, so why is the summer so important? The answer is very simple. You have a 2 to 3 month period of time where you have absolutely zero responsibilities that you have to take care of. You can invest all of that time in bolstering your college application and where you need it to be. So we're going to talk today about what you should be investing that time in and what would generate you the greatest benefits to your application. Okay, so the first and the most important piece is to strategize. Strategy is key. You need to plan things out because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Most people go into their summers without any goals whatsoever. They just go in, they start doing what they feel is right, and they hope it's going to work out. That's not going to work. Instead, I need you to set 2 to 3 goals of what you want to accomplish from the summer. Again, the summer is not an unlimited period of time. You can only accomplish so much. I want you to think right now about your current college application. If you had to submit today, besides the essays, what would you be lacking? And that is really what you should prioritize your time on. If you want to go to a top, research school like Harvard or Stanford and you don't have any research, maybe you could focus on that. If you don't have any community service, again, that could be a place to look for concern. But again, don't invest time if you got like a 1550 on the SAT to study for the SAT. You need to plan your time very wisely. Now I'm going to discuss some of the possible activities that you could pursue this summer. But again, I want you to strategize and say, maybe I need to do this summer and then I can focus on that at a later point in time. Strategy is key. And again, ask any questions you have in the comments. The first possible summer activity is SAT or ACT prep. Now, I really highly recommend studying for the SAT over a summer because there is some strategy behind it. Remember, when you study things, you will learn things, but you also forget things at the same rate. So studying for the SAT over a 6-month period while you're in school is not going to help you because you are going to forget the things that you've studied in months 1 and 2 while you are preparing for the test in months 5 and 6. It won't work out, and this is what leads a lot of people to take the SAT 2, 3, 4 times, which that is a complete waste of your time. So my recommendation is knocking it out during the summer, focusing, locking in for those 2 months, and then nailing that 1550 in August, or that 35 or 36 in the September ACT test. Personally, I learned this the hard way. I studied for the SAT for 6 months during the school year, my sophomore year, and I did not get the score I wanted. I sat down for the ACT, I locked in for a month and a half, and I knocked out a 35. That was really simple for me because I had really invested my time into that test for the 1.5 months, really focused into it, and then got the score I wanted and I was done. Don't do this over a long period of time. Another note on whether you should retake the test. Now, if you're at like a 1550, do not retake this. You don't have time to do this. But if you're at like the 25th percentile for your top schools, you should maybe consider a retake, especially considering less and less schools are going test optional, so you do need a good score. Lastly, the SAT is offered in August, the ACT in September, so just note those test dates. The second thing are passion projects. So many people hate on passion projects, but they work. No matter what somebody tells you, don't do this, don't do that, they're not really speaking from, experience of thousands of students. They're just speaking from their own experience or from the experience of somebody near them. Passion projects don't work and they get a lot of hate because people do them for inauthentic reasons. Or they do them because there's not an actual problem to solve. Again, those are both very important, but one of my main activities in high school was a passion project. It was a tutoring nonprofit that I started during COVID because schools had shut down. There was a problem and I brought the solution to the community, and now we are the largest student-run free tutoring service in the US. So again, it can be done. You just need to find a problem that you're passionate about and then really work either on your own or with a team of people to achieve that goal. Don't do this if you're not passionate about it because it will not work and you will get clowned online or in your community. Just be careful. You should also have a measurable passion project. For example, for us, our measurable statistic was how many sessions that we held for our tutoring nonprofit. For you, it could be how many books you give away or how much money you raise. Have something measurable because a lot of schools like to see impact, and the only way you can demonstrate impact is through numbers or some other form of achievement. So have that, available. Last thing is, and this is a kind of secret strategy, you should definitely try to have a teacher endorse your passion project in a way. What I mean by endorse is that in your letter of rec, if this teacher knows about your passion project or they were maybe an advisor for it, they could talk about it and say this happened. Because a lot of time passion projects are like student run, so it's difficult to verify the work. And if you have a teacher backing you, it makes things seem more legit. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, the next activity to consider is research. And there's so much talk about how research, you need those top level, international level competitions like ISEF or whatever, but it's really not needed because the simple reason is the fact that so few people win those awards that even if Ivy Leagues accepted all of those 25K, 50K winners, let's be honest, they wouldn't fill that many seats because they're just so rare, and that's why they're so accomplished. I didn't have any of those competitions. I did research and I turned out fine. I'm at Stanford, and so you don't need them either. The important thing is that you have to have still some sort of impact from that research. So contact a professor, get in touch with them in the summer. It doesn't matter if it's July or August, get in contact with them because a lot of the time you can start the research in the summer and then continue it in the school year, whether it be virtual or you drive in person or you transport yourself somehow, whatever that might be. It can continue if you put the effort to make it do so. The big thing for research is that you have something produced. That is always stronger if you say, hey, look, I worked for research for 5 months and then I produced a poster, right? It doesn't even have to be a paper, it could be a poster or something that came out of it at the end, just so they know you weren't just sitting around washing plates the whole time. So have something, anything that's some sort of measurable production that came out of this. Now the next thing is work experience. This one is more for yourself because in the end, work experience in high school is to tell yourself, hey, do I want to pursue this in the future? So think of it more as like a trial and error for yourself. It can be a social media internship, shadowing at a doctor's office, working at a law office, whatever that might be to get your feet wet in that career. Again, getting in doesn't take one day. You don't have to worry and stress about getting in tomorrow. Just contact people, send 5 cold emails per day, whatever that might be. But just don't stress over it because the minute you start stressing and saying it's too much, you're gonna give up. The worst case is just shadow somebody for free or just offer to volunteer for them. Many, clinics or offices will take volunteers in. They will like to have you. And so don't tell yourself, I can't do it, because if you say that, then you won't do it. And again, impact is so important. When you come out of that internship or whatever that might be able to say I produced this, or I grew the company's social media by this percent, or I saw this many patients or assisted a doctor with that. Have something tangible that comes out of it to show your achievement. That is always going to differentiate you from other applicants. The next activity is volunteering. So for this one, it's more realistic if you're in July or August, midsummer, and you don't have anything lined up for the summer and you need to do something right now. Volunteer for an organization and make an impact. This is especially relevant for cultural organizations that maybe your parents or your friends are in. A lot of the time they have events over the summer and they need volunteers or people to get involved. Join your cultural community association, whatever your culture or community might be, and then volunteer, get involved, start a youth chapter. I did that. Do something to get involved because a lot of college essays ask you, what does your community mean to you? What does your culture mean to you? And this not only helps develop a strong activity for your extracurricular section, but it also builds your college application because a lot of time for that essay, you're going to have to give an answer about how, you're connected to your community. So trust me, doing things, volunteering in your community is worth it. As a Turkish American personally, I spent my junior year starting and growing a youth committee that worked nationwide with students, Turkish Americans across the country. Do something similar, whether that be for your local community or nationally. Last activity, now this is only for my rising seniors, rising juniors, sophomores, freshmen, middle schoolers, whoever's watching this, do not do this, is to start your college application. You need to start writing your applications early. This is coming from somebody who applied to over 20 schools. You need to start early, start today. If you're a rising senior, you have limited time to get this stuff done. You need to start today. I don't care when it is, whenever you're watching this video, just start thinking about your application in generality. Start theming yourself, thinking about how you could build this story about yourself in your application. Knock out your Common App, write a draft or two. Start as many supplementals as you can, but I'm going to tell you this right now. The more you accomplish during the summer, the less stressed you're going to be in this school year. And I can't tell you how many students tell me, hey, look, I messed up because I submitted my college application on the last day and I realized I made this mistake or this typo. Again, you gotta start early. If you start early, it's gonna pay off. All right, these are some ideas for you to maximize your summer. Again, I want you guys to strategize. Do not do everything in that list. Pick 2 or 3 goals. For example, if you are a rising senior, You could be working on a part-time research project and also starting a college application. If you are a rising sophomore, you could be volunteering and studying for your SAT. Again, please comment your questions. I'm here to support you. Please also like and subscribe for more college content. I really appreciate the support you guys give, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.